Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai, and welcome to Jagadambe Reads the Holy Books of India, ShrimadBhagavatam273. As you may remember, Krishna jumped into the Madhu, and all the people of the place where they lived came to the shores to scream and cry. For years the lake had been undisturbed, and the surface of the lake had ever been placid. Kaliya suddenly found that his calm was being disturbed. It seemed to him that something was ruffling the surface of the lake. He did not pay much heed to it, and stayed under, as was his custom. After a while he found that the waters were being churned, and the upheaval on the surface was so great that he was being tossed around. Amazed at this phenomenon, which had never happened to him before, Kaliya moved his immense body and tried to rise to the surface of the lake. Till now no one had dared to come near the lake, and today seemed to be different. Kaliya raised his 5 heads and looked at the world. He saw the banks of the lake. He saw hundreds of men and women weeping tears of sorrow. There was beating of breasts, and there were several women who were trying to jump into the lake, and they were being held back by their men. There was one woman in particular who was weeping, and she seemed heartbroken. She was saying, "Krishna, my son, once you are dead, where is the point in any of us living anymore? Kaliya has killed you, and I will also be killed by him. I have no wish to live once I lose my son." Balarama and Nanda were holding her back, and Balarama said, "Look, mother, Krishna can never be killed. Not so easily as all that. He has decided to punish the dreadful Kaliya, who has been polluting our Yamuna for years. He has killed our cows and our playmates, and it is but right that he should be punished. And that's the only reason why Krishna has jumped into the Madhu. Please, mother, possess your soul in patience, and he will come out triumphant. Just watch and see." Krishna had all this while been diving under the surface, and no one could see him. He now emerged out of the surface of the lake like the moon out of the eastern sky. Kaliya looked, and he saw a young boy rising out of the water. He was wearing a silken garment, yellow like the sun, and it was all drenched with the waters of the Kaliya Madhu. He had a lovely mole on his chest, and his face had a divine smile playing on it. Of fear or worry, there was not even a trace, and he was so beautiful, and his charm was so great, that even Kaliya, the dread snake, was for a moment nonplussed at the sight of this heap of beauty. But he shook himself out of this slight moment of hesitation and began to lash at Krishna. He caught hold of Krishna, and he wound his entire length round the form of the young boy. With his 5 heads, he spat his virulent poison on the child. He dug his fangs deep into all the limbs of the little boy, and those who were watching from the banks could only look on with horror. And with a strange fascination, they stood spellbound, waiting for the moment when their beloved Krishna would fall down dead and become submerged under the blackened waters of the Madhu. Most of them were down on the ground, and they had fainted away, unable to see the horror of their child being killed. Nanda himself was in a swoon, and Balarama was the only one who could keep Yashoda and Rohini from jumping into the Kaliya Madhu. He spoke words of comfort to them. They could not believe him, though, since they knew all about the fate of one who had been caught up in the coils of Kaliya. Nanda woke up from his swoon and tried to kill himself by falling into the waters, and it was a hard task for Balarama to keep them all away from the waters. For a while, Krishna allowed this farce to go on, that he was caught up in the coils of the serpent and that he was being crushed to death. Kaliya himself thought that the end of Krishna had come. Suddenly, he felt that something was happening to him. Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again.